Yeah, what's good, y'all? It's your boy P. Checking in with you. How things? You know what's up. This is another P code. And today's P code, white supremacist society doing retaliatory pre-trial PR in social media to taint the potential jury pool in a city is the type of shit that's gonna have us doing the same thing. This is specifically in cases where the race soldiers have assaulted or killed black people, and white supremacist society goes on social media, try to put out op-ed and hit pieces vilifying the people white supremacists victimize or the witnesses whose stories disprove the white supremacist narrative of things. And my top example is in the case of Botham John, and condolences to his family, who an off-duty police race soldier knocked on his door and shot him dead. Her name is Amber Geiger. She's a rhesus monkey, right? And even though she was off duty, all manner of white supremacists are coming out to help her in this case, not just the race soldiers. Understand? So I made a note of it in the case, and I'm paying special attention to the timing of it. We see in the media, Amber Geiger has been going back and forth to court, and they've been putting her face out a little bit. You know, she's going to these little pre-trial sit-downs with the judge and whatnot. They're not quite humanizing her just yet, in my opinion. They're just kind of trying to soften the public to her presence, which I don't appreciate that. But they're putting her face out there, showing her in business suits, and she's trying to show that she's not moved in any way, trying to have this stoic look about her. You know what I mean? That's how they're dressing her up with her white supremacists behind. When it's time to show up in court, y'all know how they do white supremacists when they head up to court. It's like they tell them to shave their beards, you tell them to put on the 12-year-old mustache look, get rid of all the facial hair, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you heard the saying, putting syrup on shit. This is what they're doing to her. She is shit, and they're putting syrup on her. She's a fucking pig, and they're putting a suit on a fucking pig. That's what they're doing. All right? And our response, while they're frothing up these soft humanization efforts, is that we need to be doing pre-trial jury pool tainting in favor of the witnesses at the scene. We know cops and media will try to vilify those people straight up, or any surviving victims of a crime that has been done by police. You understand? They're going to be down for that shit. And y'all know I do my part here, and we all do our part. You just can never go out of sight for too long on these cases because people will start slipping on the code behind it. So what white supremacist society wants for us is for our witnesses and our victims and our families of our victims to be on their side. I think we all notice that. We notice when our witnesses don't want to be criminal and give in to saying the white criminal was right. I mean, basically is what it is. And, that's all they want you to say when white people do heinous crimes, right? Or when our witnesses don't want to fall for the bullshit, or the families of the victims don't want to accept no apologies and don't want to listen to none of the pleas they copping. When none of that works, they set a new target, a new desperate ass target on the potential jury pools in a city. Right? They want our potential jury pools to give in to the white supremacist tantrums that they couldn't get the families and the witnesses and the people on the scene about the shit to give in to. You know what I'm saying? They want to take it to those outside of the case, is my point, right? So it's sort of a spiteful move to do, to say like, oh, these black witnesses, they don't want to give in. Let's go to the city and let's go to the potential jury pool in a predominantly white city or a predominantly non-black city, right? To see if we can get them to believe our PR and propaganda. And let's try to access them via social media and broadcast media, right? And in an unprecedented way, in the social media world that we're in, we have a woman by the name of Bunny Babbs. Her name is Ronnie Babbs. I'm just using her Instagram name because that's what I became engaged with her persiflage through, was through Instagram. And she's calling out the exact practices that I named in this Botham Jean case. She did an interview on the Phil Advice show, calling out the witnesses type of retaliation type of moves. I mean, the witness intimidation practices done by the Dallas police, the witness retaliation practices of Facebook, Instagram, the witness intimidation practices of the DA and the people that called themselves the feds in this case, who rolled up on her at her house and didn't say what branch of the feds they was a part of, didn't give no business cards, no name, no nothing, but they showed up at her house trying to make a command presence and trying to show command presence. And we talked about that before on this channel. That's nothing but an intimidation technique for a little woman, right? And she's calling out also the retaliatory practices of her employer that fired her for white supremacist people calling up to her damn job lying about her. You know what I'm saying? And when she said she was going to go to the media about them firing her, they blacklisted her credentials. That's the move of a spiteful, scary batch of motherfuckers, right? They doing that shit. Also, the glory can be had by white supremacist society. Also, the damn glory can be had by the white supremacist killer Amber Geiger, who committed a breaking and entering and murdering of Botham Jean, September 6, 2018. So what we're witnessing now is the slander the witness phase of court proceedings when a race soldiering white supremacist does dirt. Some of y'all saying like, what, the slandering the witness phase? How is that a court proceeding? Well, in a white supremacist society, yeah, that's how the shit go. You know what I'm saying? I'll show you how. You know, white supremacist society, they can lie about shit. You know what I mean? And they, like in this case, they can't factually defend the story of their white supremacist female who's a part of their race soldier fraternity or one of their race soldier fraternities in America, the ones out in Dallas. They couldn't find a way to defend her shit, nor could they find a way to slander Botham Jean. Right? He was squeaky clean, and there was no trail of evil that Botham Jean left behind that white supremacist society could, you know, kind of rub their hands over and relish over and say, he was a bad guy. You know what I'm saying? He didn't leave any of that for them to try to roach off of and try to pick up on and party about and say, hey, we got a scandal we can gloss over the entire case with, right? We're going to pull the scandal over the entire case about the guy and then frame him up as being bad. So he deserves to be killed in his home while he was unarmed, right? They failed to do that, right? They didn't have that on him. And we're seeing this slander phase because white supremacist race soldiers and supporters of the blue wall of criminality have no leg to stand on in a breaking and entering and killing case where one of theirs is guilty as day. The wall they're up against is white supremacy, fight for your stinking ass, white supremacist ass self. Save this murdering ass Neanderthal if you can, white supremacy. Save your white, delicate flower female. And I love that shit. I love it. I love that they're exposed to the elements because of information flow interfering with their fucking fairy tale ass narratives around this case because of a motherfucking iPhone. You know what I'm saying? A motherfucking iPhone interfering with their fairy tale ass story. And this fuck ass story coming out of Geiger's mouth. To those that forgot, it was Amber Geiger, a dumbass bitch, talking about that she went to the wrong apartment and shot a man, all because she thought he was an intruder in an apartment that she didn't know was hers, and she parked on the She went to the wrong apartment, is what she's saying, and shot somebody. And that's bullshit. Bullshit upon bullshit. But what came out in that interview with Phil Advise is that Amber Geiger has racist, white supremacist, terrorist people quarterbacking for her committing murder in this slandering phase of the court proceedings. Ronnie Babbs is getting called radical and black extremist for pulling out a camera. Soak on that shit. Let that shit sink the fuck in, all right? Soak on that. Now, I know in the video, she said that it was people from the community that found her job and started calling up and harassing and, saying that she's all these black extremists and all this other crap. But to me, that don't sound like no people from the motherfucking neighborhood. That sounds like some people who have an interest in the case to try to allow Geiger to go free. But I mean, what do I know? She know more than me, though. I'm just saying that's what that shit sound like to me. But I know for a fact that it definitely looks like now that she's speaking up, that white supremacist society is trying to scare people away from the truth presented in her video, starting with her employers, right? They're trying to scare them away from the shit. They started there. And that's some shit a white supremacist would do in attempting to get you fired over type shit. You know what I mean? Over filming the aftermath of a crime a cop did. You know what I'm saying? So just listen to that verbiage. You know what I'm saying? That's using terms like radical and extremist. Those are white supremacists created identifiers from up on high. That's white supremacist agent talk. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucking Fed talk. You understand? And who knows from where in the Dallas Police Department or wherever the fuck else that kind of Fed talk is coming from in her direction. I think those cops were calling up. I think those were cops, I'm going to say. I'm saying that there's them calling up, trying to retaliate for Geiger and trying to help retaliate for Geiger. But it just shows y'all that white uncivilization and desperation knows no bounds. It just shows you what state they are in their de-evolution, their time that they're spending on Earth, right? It shows you how filthy they are. I put up a comment about Bunny Babbs on Phil Advise video that he did about it. And I was just like, Bunny Babbs is good to finally see her. I mentioned her in my video on this case the day after Botham's murder, or around that time when nobody in the media was saying her Instagram name. They were just taking footages and running with it, taking her footage and running with it. But I said her name because I saw the post when it was on Instagram before motherfuckers did the sweep and took shit off. And I just said, look, what I said in that video, if y'all might remember that, I said, because she's black, I believe her, first of all. She said the shot happened and this white supremacist terrorist police officer paced around, all that shit, right? And I basically just, let the explanation be known that they've been trying to dog whistle this case into the ground from day one since that. She said there was a shot and the white supremacist was pacing around for almost 10 minutes before she called the police. Then she called the police. But then this lady, Alyssa Paredes, she was on the Channel 8 News out here the next day or so, talking about the police were called immediately. So she's running a racist white supremacist dog whistle. You know what I'm saying? A racist white supremacist dog whistle, right? That's the game she on, right? That's the game that they were on from day one. White society is running this shit into the ground on some dog whistle shit, or I should say it's their expectation, rather. Try to run this into the ground on some white supremacist dog whistle shit, and there's shit that we can get at while they angling that shit that we can just snatch the legs right from underneath them, is what I'm saying. I'm presenting that in this video. Let me check my, damn, I got motherfucking comments on this motherfucker. What the fuck y'all doing over here? Pico, what's your IG, man? God damn, I'm getting it all y'all, man. No, I ain't checking the camera battery. I probably need to, right? Shit. Must respect them. Oh shit. Must respect to them. Who saying oh shit? What the oh shit about? Yeah, I see y'all typing whole paragraphs. I see y'all. I'm gonna get at y'all, man. I want to get back to what we was talking about. There was this video up, and there was people involved early in the whole element of casting aspersion on the story, right? Coming up with half conceived narratives of what this case looks like. White supremacist dog whistling from the gate, and you got people like Bunny Babbs who came with her facts. And what they plan on running with, we don't know what direction they want to run with out of this. All I know is that I believe her. Like I said, because she black, I believe her. I just want us to notice this process from the jump. We got to understand that, things like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, news, all these entities running retaliation plays against her, that's a part of white supremacist media. That's a part of white supremacist society being, like I say, all hands on motherfucking deck when one of theirs does evil. And that's it. If it's a circumstance that looks like it's going to be punishable by somebody white meeting death at the hands of the system, or either some long-term white imprisonment, they're going to run the PR mill when all evidence, talking evidence, takes reasonable doubt off the table, takes white innocence out of the game. You understand? That's what we're seeing right now in this case of Amber Geiger. Our solution is, if they want to play all hands on deck with shitting on the truth, we have to keep programming the public case for case when they try to run this type of game with us, is my point. So I want y'all to just notice the process from the jump, and I want y'all to pay attention to it. Look for the signs of the tiptoeing to do certain things. Look for any soft padding language, any of that we don't know what's happening, we don't know this or that type of shit, right? Because that's white supremacy getting on code. We had witnesses that said the popos didn't even let Geiger leave the fucking scene after the shit happened. Yet the cops said, namely, that scum Delta Sigma Theta, Renee motherfucking Hall, the police chief out here, she says, yes, we talked to her. We talked to Amber Geiger. We don't know where she is, though. If y'all remember that was in the press conference, right? And just listen to those types of things, right? That directly go against tons of motherfucking witnesses, right? She tiptoed on the arrest warrant for Geiger. She tiptoed on the manslaughter charges, tiptoed on, those should have been murder charges off the jump. She tiptoed on the toxicology reports to this day. You understand? So me personally, I don't care if it's a black face in the press conference telling you some shit around a case like this. It's white supremacy getting on code early in the case. So what we're witnessing them do is, like I call like a 3-step process. They want to seed doubt into the jury pool that's going to come out of a city, right? They're going to paint the cop's victim as being bad, as they tried with Botham Jean. It didn't work. They're going to try to paint the cops motherfucking witnesses. They're going to try to paint the witnesses. I'm saying the cops witnesses because of this case, but just in general, they're going to paint the witnesses as bad. Understand that? I want y'all to soak on that. Seeding doubt and putting doubt into a jury pool that's going to come out of a city, namely by no police officers coming out against the narrative of the evildoer in this case, right? And she wasn't even acting in the capacity of a police officer, this Amber Geiger character in this case. You understand? Yet the police offer no counter narrative to her impossible ass narrative of the story. Like, how do you claim you tired from work, but you weren't tired enough to walk up the extra flight of stairs to get to where Botham Jean lived? You know what I'm saying? Or even if she took the fucking elevator, pressing a 3 on a fucking elevator, that shit looked different from pressing a 4. I don't care how tired I am, goddammit. a 3 don't never look like no damn 4. You understand? Yeah, when what's the boy? Larry Woodruff and Eric Black, when they were arrested on marijuana charges, they hurried up to plant the Jasmine Barnes killing on them with no lawyer, no quoted confessions, nothing but just social media hearsay, all that shit. They didn't hesitate to make up a narrative for them, these men, for a potential jury pool, understand, to run with. You understand what I'm saying? So just notice that nobody from the police has came out against Amber Geiger's impossible narrative. Nobody from the police union. They're also silent on Amber Geiger's narrative. They came out loud and proud to vilify Eric Black and Larry Woodruff, though. Understand? With no evidence, but with Amber Geiger, they got all the evidence in the world and they ain't said one word. You understand? So just understand that. Notice that that type of shit that I just mentioned, you know what I'm saying, vilifying people and vilifying the witnesses and trying to seed doubt into the jury pool through media. None of that has anything to do with the facts in a case. And notice that it's some schoolyard popularity contests with motherfucking who can play the dozens type shit, who can kick up the most crap before a trial, right? And what I'm saying to y'all is we need to get involved in that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? My channel is the whatever they do, we do it back channel. If y'all are new to my channel, I know I got a few new subscribers. You know, thank you for the new subs, but you know, some of the rules y'all gonna have to learn. One of the rules is whatever they do, we do back. I don't give a damn. So, and I got a video I want to do about my new subscribers just to kind of break them in, because y'all don't even know what the fuck I do. So I'm gonna break y'all in for real, you know what I'm saying? I'll do that maybe sometime soon. I won't forget. All right. But understand that that's what we need to get involved in, because kicking up crap before a trial, that's how low the vibration of the white supremacist society is now. Understand? They make plays on people's subconscious before a trial, like using a childlike name calling, boogeyman making type of play on adult people's childlike nature, adults who would be jurors. You understand? And just the basically non-desire. It's a non-desire of common people to think for themselves. They don't desire to think for themselves. So because that's a trait of common society, white supremacist society preys on that and exploits that to see their evil ass ends met in cases where justice for murdered black people hangs in the balance with cases like what I'm talking about. You understand? So I want to give you another example of the dirt they run and that they try to run and that they tried to run in this case with Botham Jean and the issue with Bunny Babbs. Let me pull this shit up. There's a tweet that I got. Where's this shit at? Okay, here we go. So Phil Advise put up this tweet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, about 4 days ago. Just calling it, I knew a hit piece was coming. We knew a hit piece was coming. And then they're just basically trying to slander Bunny Babbs in the Dallas News, saying that is a witness in the Botham Jean case less credible after raising $30K? They're trying to make it seem like the money she raised after being fired had something to do with her telling what she saw and heard to Phil Advise or to whoever she might have talked to in media, right? And my response to the tweet, I mean, y'all can go to my Twitter and check the shit out as far as the link to the actual article. I could put it in the comments if y'all want. I'll put it in the comments. But my response, real quick, I didn't even have to read the article. I just knew. But I read it. And my comment was like, look, she got donations after she was unjustly fired by her employer, period. Then I put at Dallas News, comma, attorneys Chris Knox and Scotty Allen. Those are the attorneys that they have kind of speaking up and giving their little legal framing of what they think is going on in the case. You know, they always put the what I think lawyers on the motherfucking newsreel. But I said attorneys Chris Knox and Scotty Allen in Dallas News, they're trying to pre-taint the jury pool while inferring she solicited donations in exchange for telling what she saw and heard Amber Geiger doing, and what frame of time, and etc. And I just put hashtag libel, because that shit is libel. You understand? And I also put another one up. Look, Dallas News, if you're responsible, you'll remove this post. Let Amber Geiger's defense team defend her if they know how. All by themselves. Don't get involved in libelous behavior. And that was my comment. Got my share of likes. So to act like, somebody like Chris Knox is his name. To act like somebody like Chris Knox or Scotty Allen aren't workaday white supremacists running game, you know what I'm saying? Just by reading that piece, you know what I mean? You're just running a smoke screen of white supremacist appeasement at this point. That shit don't get the needle moving. You understand? Chris Cox, if y'all are out in this area, y'all might be familiar. I keep calling him Chris Cox, Chris Knox. If y'all are familiar with this guy, he was a guy that, to me, he's just an opportunity chasing motherfucker, and he saw an opportunity to bandwagon on white supremacist evil out here. The Dallas Morning News, who came with this hit piece, they ain't paying. They ain't really paying his ass no money. And if y'all know, Chris Knox, he's the guy who was the lawyer for John Wiley Price out here. Y'all know John Wiley Price. If you're from Dallas, Fort Worth, Metroplex, and surrounding areas, you know what I'm talking about, John Wiley Price. And he had this issue, some money he got snatched out of safe. Some shit went down, man. Shit like that, right? And he was his lawyer. He got him off the case and all of that. You know what I'm saying? He beat the case. But he probably wrote for this article thinking like, fuck that. This article don't pay as much as John Wiley Price did. So he's like, ain't no sense in speaking up for no black woman who did right. You understand? He's like, man, I didn't get none of that 30K she got. I ain't getting none of that money. What team white supremacy it is. You understand? This is what we're looking at. It's cohesion with these white supremacist characters, with the way that they do things, with the way the lawyers work, with the way the media work. It's cohesion in the way they speak, cohesion in that they have in promoting the detriment of black people, right? And, when we're up against white supremacist cohesion, where they trying to run this trifecta of slander that I talked about and casting doubt in the jury pool, that type of shit, we need to counter that and clean up on the groundwork side before these things come to court, is what I'm saying. Like, sometimes people forget that the jury, they read newspapers. The juries, they read internet posts, all that shit before a fucking case. Before a fucking case. They're not allowed to do it during a case, but before the case, they do it. They're just regular citizens. You understand? So anybody on my channel, take advantage of the social media. You understand? Even if you just send a tweet to the police communications officer, some shit like that, it'll help them know, look, we watching y'all punk asses, right? You go to Yelp and downrate the motherfucking police department. You know what I mean? Downrate their motherfucking ass. That shit'll help. We now about what? Where we at now? We in about the 6th month of this case right now. You understand? And we're doing our part in pointing out the dirt. You understand? There's a case with, what's another case, man? Damn, we in the case with the boy Willie Bowe out in Vallejo. He just got shot 25 times by the fucking I'm about to say the fucking police, the fucking cops, the fucking animals out there at a Taco Bell. They say he was in a drive-through, which don't make sense to me, but okay. Oh, let me do this real quick. They say he was in a drive-through, right? Parked in a drive-through with a gun on his lap. Hold on one second, y'all. You understand? They say he's parked in a drive-thru with a gun on his lap, knocked out, unconscious. But then they run that sissy masculinity shit talking about he feared for his life and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because you know they got to run their sissy masculinity when they see a black man. Oh, we fear for our life. He was not awake when they shot him. It's not like he was awake and had a gun aimed at their ass. He was unconscious or groggy or whatever the fuck. But just because they saw a gun, you understand, they jumping. Not that he was awake and aiming and pointing the gun. You understand? So just think about what they have to reach for in shit like that. Cases like what we talking about, man. All they got to reach for now is name calling and trolling. You understand? In the information age, information itself is now the new open enemy to status quo whiteness. You understand? And whiteness being absolved from all dirt. Information itself has whittled down the courtroom arsenal of white supremacist terrorist society. You understand? So all we got to do is wield our weapons and get out in front of them. You understand? In one of these types of issues so that their legs get cut the fuck off. They keep pointing out their omissions, keep pointing out their lies. You understand? I got a tweet from what's the girl? Chiquisha Clemens. Y'all might remember her. That kind of speaks to my point of us having to directly and actively taint our jury pools like white supremacist terrorist society does. Where is it at? Yeah, okay. So y'all know Chiquisha Clemens, she was molested by 4 Alabama police officers in a Waffle House. The guys' names were Bryson McDaniel, Christopher Ramey, Sam Ellison. These were Saraland, Alabama police officers, right? And she sent me a tweet, or I got a retweet from her not too long ago. Where is it at? She's at Rosa Parks Jr. on Twitter. Rosa Parks Jr., right? So a couple of weeks back, she sent me this tweet and just saying, 9 months later, they are just now releasing the police officers' names that were involved in my assault and arrest at the Waffle House, all while slandering my name immediately. What the fuck I just tell y'all that they do? And my response was, yeah, I noticed that. It's rule number 1 when an evil race soldier culture gets to now do pre-trial PR on social media. Rule number 1, they get out in front and vilify who they victimize before trial if they're black. And I just sent my heart and strength goes out to you, ma'am. Best. And as that case goes on, it's going to be the same thing. We got to keep pointing out the omission and the fancy